Capitalists do try to open closed factories. They typically fail though, which means I generally clean them out. Yeah, it's a waste of money, isn't it? Alright, so anything which is a level 1 I'm just going to go ahead and close, because they clearly haven't invested enough in it for it to matter. In fact, all of the failed ones are level 1, so that's a good thing. And hopefully this means that they'll start trying to build new ones. My glorious shipbuilding industry has completely collapsed. Oh, it was so good. I had such a massive monopoly. I probably still do. None of these have been leveled up. Curious, what do we produce the most of? Timber, cloth, wood, glass, grain. Nothing really that impressive. I guess those are serious bulk goods. There's so many closed factories. What have you done to my economy, people? It's because I used to subsidize all of the military things, but I don't anymore. Because it was ending up costing me a small fortune. So I guess it means that we're going to be in the very, very dangerous position of having to buy in arms when we're at war. I'm not very happy about that. I'm surprised so many of the steel factories have failed. They used to make good money. Again, probably when it was subsidized. So the arms industry was supporting the supporting industries. I think it might actually be in my interest to reduce tariffs. Because it feels like we're having to import a lot of stuff. I mean, that's something I should probably check. If we're importing a lot of raw materials for the factories, then we do need to reduce tariffs. So what are they? Need that many for thingy. Where's production? It only shows you what you need, not what you produce. Oof, the micro. Yeah, welcome to older Paradox games. I'm sure this could make some incisive comments on how this reflects on modern economic policy if I knew anything about that. Well, I actually find that going for like full-on liberalism, even anarcho-liberalism, is really effective. Because your factories are just so bloody efficient because it's all privately owned and the state has zero control over them. They actually do really well, but I'm struggling under conservatism because I have control over the factories, and that makes the private enterprise far less likely to actually, you know, go all out because government will just bail them out. So they're a lot less efficient, and that's actually causing more of the factories to close. Like, there are definitely some interesting economic lessons to be learned from this. Not necessarily relevant ones, but definitely interesting. It does do a pretty good job of representing Victorian industry, though. What was I doing? Oh yeah, trying to work out what I need to import. So I am importing coal, tea and iron. Coal and iron. Those are kind of important. Why am I having to import so much coal, though? I do produce my own. Just apparently not enough. A lot of the RGOs are closed. I need another focus, then I need to focus on labourers for the coal mine here. In fact, we have gold mines in this whole area too. This is a ridiculously wealthy area. 2 gold mines right there. 30. That's in Turkey. 28. That's in Turkey. 27, 20, 27, 53, 32, 30, 31. Yeah, this one's by far and away my most profitable. Well, as more and more of my factory workers become unemployed, more and more of them will be going back into the RGOs. Because there are jobs there. Coal, iron and tea, the fuel of the Industrial Revolution. In Britain, at least. It's kind of true. What are my top exports? Furniture, glass and regular goods. Oh right, yeah, this is what I produce rather than what I'm selling. And this is actually what I'm selling the most of. That makes sense. This definitely kind of suggests that I need to go after more coal production. So fighting the Ottomans for some of these territories is probably a good idea. And going after Prussia for Silesia is probably actually a better idea. Right, so next time I'm at war with Prussia, I'm going to have to try and take over some of Silesia. Or Bohemia, rather. Silesia is somewhere else. Bohemia is a ridiculously wealthy area and a very important one. Like, I very often find that Breslau... Oh, that's in Schlesien. But I very often find that's actually the most industrialised province in my empire. Regardless of who I'm playing as. Can I liberalise my economy so it's more market-driven? Nope. Because I'm a theocracy. I can't change my government. I can't change parties. I'm stuck. Can't hold an election. I can't change. Wait, yes I can. I can go reactionary. Why can I do this? I can't switch to liberal. But I can change to reactionary. So I could assume direct control on our economy. So I do everything. I'm actually kind of tempted by this. Reactionary means that the capitalists can still build their own factories, but it also means that I can build factories. So I can say, right, you produce coal in this province, therefore you should probably build steelworks here. Let's do it. Let's go reactionary. Oops. That means that all codes are off, actually. I can now do what the hell I like in the economy. That's nice. So... Steiermark could definitely do. With a steel factory. Because if we look at this, steel uses steel, iron and machine parts. Oh, it doesn't show modifiers. That's annoying. But basically, wherever these goods are produced, it's a hell of a lot more efficient. In fact, I can show you that by going to one of the other steel factories which exists. Here we go. Hover over that. No, not that one. That. Possible bonus from plus 12.5% throughput from producing iron in the state, another plus 12.5 for producing coal in the state. So do we have anywhere that produces both iron and coal? Treviso. Oh no, it doesn't do coal. Northern Serbia doesn't. Bosnia doesn't. Montenegro and southern Serbia don't. But we do have several places that produce at least one of them, so that's 12% more efficiency right there. So yeah, Schlesien definitely needs to get a coal mine. Or steel factory. And we'll watch that and see if I'm right. Build. Although this is really something you want to do in smaller nations, not necessarily big ones. Because there is just so much to do. So if I was playing as like Northern Italy, then yes, you probably want to have more direct control. And I can't change again until next year. Alright. Yeah, Anatolia does. So, custom menu. Oops, that's not the right button. Custom menu is already doing steel. So this is probably one of the reasons why this steel factory is actually profitable. Ah, you know what I can do? Brainwave. I'm going to sort this by the number of unemployed craftsmen. Because that is areas where we need more industries. So, Peloponnese. What do you produce here? More to the point, where the hell are you? There you are. So you produce a silly amount of fruit. Therefore, and I mean every single one of your provinces does fruit. So Peloponnese, you need a winery. Build a vineyard. It'll do amazing. This is actually a really good idea. I like this. Aegean Islands, what do you produce? Is there a state view? What's that? That is grain. Grain. Sulfur. Fish. Grain. So grain, actually that's a lot of sulfur you produce. How does that compare to other sulfur producers? So if you do a lot of sulfur, then you should probably do explosives. You are my only sulfur producing province. This is where explosives should be made. No, not explosives, ammunition. Already has one. Being built. Venice! What do you do, Venice? Fish. Fruit. Not a huge amount of fruit. Lots of fish, though. Lots and lots of fish. What uses fish? Cannery? Already being built. Yeah, cannery uses fish. Is there anything else? Fishy, 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 fishy. Where are you? There you are. I thought I could click on you. There you go. Used for artisans and canned food factory. That's it. Thrace. Man, these places have over 100,000 people unemployed. What do you produce, Thrace? I suspect you're also going to be a cannery. Grain. Quite a lot of grain. And fruit. So you need a winery and a cannery. Wine? No, that's glass. So you want a winery and a cannery. That can be arranged. Cannery. Winery. Albania. You produce cattle, though not in huge amounts. In fact, Albania, you are really quite unproductive. So Albania is probably a place that needs to build things that don't get bonuses. So maybe like ammunition plants, maybe? Artillery? You get a bonus for having a steel factory and explosives factory. Steamers get a bonus for having steel factories or coal. I'm going to leave Albania alone for the moment. I don't know what that needs. Dalmatia. Where's Dalmatia? There it is. You produce a absurd amount of fish. 151 fish from Dubrovnik. So if you don't have a cannery, I'm going to hit someone. Ah, yes you do. Southern Serbia. 90,000. Where's Southern Serbia? Northern. Southern. You are the god of all wood production. And a little bit of iron. Very, very little bit of iron. Loads of wood. So if you don't do timber, I'm going to be very upset. You don't do timber. Why don't you do timber? So you can clearly do with a paper mill. You can do with a lumber mill. And a furniture factory. Right, Sinai. Precious goods? No. Why, fruit. Very, very small amounts of fruit. How big is Sinai? Or cotton. Tiny amounts of cotton, though. Those are really almost not worth mentioning. Oh, you're also in Sinai. That's a lot of grain. That's also a fair amount of fruit. That's actually quite a lot of fruit, so you should probably be a winery. You don't have a winery. Well, let's get a winery. Piedmont. That's Lombardia, that's Piedmont. That's looking like a lot of fruit to me. That's an awful lot of fruit. And possibly a cannery? Grain, cattle, yeah. Cannery and wine. Wine you're already doing. Cannery you're not. You do have some very high level lumber production and steel production though, which is interesting. Vineyard, winery. You already had one. Cannery was the other one, right? Yeah. Croatia. Croatia. I'm going to do until Libya and then we'll stop. So, Croatia. Precious metal. Quite a lot of precious metal, in fact. Also, fruit. Tiny amount of cattle. Hardly worth saying. Wool. Tons of wood. Tons and tons of wood. Iron. Wood, iron, precious metal. Do precious metal build anything, or is that literally just money? I think that is just liquid money. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that precious metal is just money. It's like gold. So we're going to produce... Totally forgotten what it does already. Tons of wood. Cannery. No. Yes. Croatia does not have any of the wood producing facilities. Although it is building that. So we're going to get rid of you. We're going to build a paper mill. And... lumber mill. Anything else? One more place. Libya. Libya is going to be a fruit producer, I would assume. Or wool. Yeah, fruit. So, Libyan wine. We're going to be an amazing wine output person place. There we go. We'll go with that. And wine's good, because once we start getting guards require wine. What's the difference between state capitalism and planned economy in Victoria 2? State capitalism allows capitalists to set up their own factories, planned economy does not. Planned economy is you do everything. Vicky 3 is as in-depth as Vicky 2 and doesn't get Barbie mode. I hope the economy... well... I hope it's as in-depth, but actually understandable. Like, the trade system in this, you might as well just ignore it, because you can't really manually do any of this. being able to set like individual prices for the different goods to try and flood the market or to create monopolies, that type of thing would be quite nice. But as it stands, it is just like, I love economics. I love economic games. I adore trade games. I mean, just look how long I was playing Patrician 3 in that series. This is beyond me. And I'm pretty hardcore into this stuff. But like production, building factories and all that, yeah, I like that. That's good. Yes, wineries everywhere. Let's get smashed. Obviously, Dalmatia needs a dog factory. Or, you know, a fur clothier. Oh, my general's died. I think just before I go to war again, I'll need to take a look around that. It's costing me money. Colonial incident! A colonial regiment in one of our colonies has had an encounter with a regiment from another colonial power, which had, according to a military report, crossed into the colonial claim on an obscure waterway a fair distance into the colony's hinterland. So I could get a place in the world, place in the sun CB on Japan. Or I could say, nah. And everyone in my nation becomes more in favour of jingoism, which is actually really good. So the reason you want to have a jingoistic population is because if you're at war and you want to add more war goals, there's like a minimum level of jingoism that's required for that. And if you're at war and you don't have that jingoism, it is extremely difficult to raise it during a war. So getting as much jingoism outside of a war is actually a really good thing. Because it means your people are like, yeah, let's go kill more stuff and take more stuff. Huzzah! So I am kind of curious what Japan actually owns that I would want. Outside of, well, Japan. Yeah, I didn't think they had any colonies down here, and it doesn't look like they do. So that probably just meant Kamchatka. Botanical expedition stranded. The botanical expedition we dispatched some time ago has found itself stranded in Marrakesh. With a leaking hull and no rations, the expedition leader has sent word home with a returning ship, requesting additional funds for the continued journey into the heart of darkness. Shall we provide the additional funds? Yeah, £100. I have 36,000 in the bank. That's fine. No, Granny, I don't want an alliance. Muscovy don't exist and never have. And that wasn't really down to me. Not in this one. Commonwealth was down to me. Kazan basically became Russia. Though Kazan themselves haven't had an amazing game. Oh no, they're still a great power. Just. Major discovery. Muzzle-loaded rifle ornament. A muzzle-loading rifle is a gun in which the projectile and propelling charge is headed through the front end of the gun, in contrast, or loaded through the front end of the gun, in contrast to a breech-loading rifle. Handheld rifles were well developed by the 1740s. A recognisable form of the muzzle-loader is the Kentucky rifle, which had actually been developed in Pennsylvania. The American long rifle evolved from the German Jaeger rifle. So supply consumption goes up for everything, but everything also gains more attack. Also, engineers are available, so I need to start building some. We'll build Asian guys and also African guys. 29 engineers. We probably want an engineer brigade per army. I think that'll probably do it. Right, so did the construction of my forts increase? No, we're still under construction, so never mind. The other thing I probably want to do is dramatically increase the size of my navy. Although, that's sad. New naval technologies are available, but they do not include better ships. That comes with the iron steamers. And that's really where we want to start investing into a naval force, because we can get ironclads and monitors. That's in 9 years, though. I mean, my navy has already proven itself more than capable. Let's get some more, because we did lose a couple. Get another 17. Creates demand for steamers, canned goods, and artillery too. Speaking of demand, yeah, we're still on maximum levels. So the middle classes seem to have recovered their wealth. The rich are getting richer because there are some who are getting luxury needs. And the poor are mostly life needs now. With actually a significant number getting everyday needs. Theodora is in my sphere, so yes. Iron and blood. Dick greedy. Right, any dangerous rebels? Voters' rights movement. No, we're going to go ahead. Oh, do I need to do any of these? I don't think I really need to suppress these guys. Well, it's free, so I may as well. Voters' rights and suffrage. I mean, I'm kind of wondering if I want them to be more radical in the future. Like, come back, be more radical, because I actually want those things to happen. Especially the voters' rights. Actually, what I really want to have is, like, healthcare and minimum wage. Actually, not necessarily minimum wage, because that makes industrialists make less money. But healthcare, certainly. And unemployment, that's the other one. Unemployment subsidies and healthcare. And school system. Speaking of which, how is literacy doing? Clergyman's at 1.95, which I think is growing. I think it was at 9.2 for a while. International crisis in Henan. So, Liang wants to be liberated from China. Nobody is backing them yet, though. Not sure anyone will, except maybe France. France tends to want to stab the Chinese. Yeah, Treasury is going down rather fast at the moment. Oh, so reactionary did increase minimum tax rate. Okay. So I think I'm going to spend, or force the rich to pay. No, I'm not. We're going to increase tariffs to 10%. No we're not. Tax the poor. So, the reasoning there. Didn't want to increase tariffs because I want goods to be cheap, especially iron and coal, because I want my factories to do well. I also didn't want to tax the rich more because the technology that I'm going to get after breech-loaded rifles is going to be railroads. So I want my capitalists to have as much money as possible so they can spam those railroads out. Smallpox. Do whatever we can. Liang wants me to back them. This would be a war against China. That's just not in my... I just don't need that. Are Liang one of their minions? Jiangxi, Yunnan, Guangxi... No. So it doesn't mean independence for one of them. Yeah, no, I don't care. Too far away. So England did back Liang. Alright, I'll join. So I'm allied with England, so I probably want to back the English. But I'm going to see if anyone wants to make me any offers to get me on their side. And if anyone starts to join any of the other sides, then I might just switch over. So this is still England versus China. England might give up if no one backs them. Being discredited in Theodora. Right, we are still losing money.